What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Got an unboxing for you today. Well, rather unbagging. It's the MONSTERBASS October bag. So we're gonna pop this bad boy open here in just a second and see what MONSTERBASS has in store for us. And of course, as always, if it's fishable, if it's any good. So before we get to all of that, of course, if you like the content, you're looking for more unboxings, gear reviews, and fishing videos, we do that all here on the channel. So subscribe, smash a like, ring the notification bell, all that good stuff. We appreciate you for it. And come back and hang out live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's me and my buddy Paul talking to all the best people in the fishing industry, and we'd love to see you there. So this month, MONSTERBASS has in store for us what they claim to be some of the best fall fishing baits to get you on big bass for fall. As we all know, at this time of year, bass are feeding up. They're gonna push bait up shallow. You probably got slightly dirtier water. You're getting some windy conditions maybe. If you're like me, water temps are dropping. Things are changing up. And also, if you're like me, you're hunting those big bass. So you want to have the right baits for that. Now, whether or not those baits are in this bag is yet to be seen. We're going to pop this bag open and see what it's all about. And we haven't done this in a while. So let me know in the comments if you want to see it, but we could put this bag to the test. We could do an on-the-water review with this bag. If that's a separate video you would like to see, let me know in the comments below. Now, I have here this bag, but I also have, as a bonus for you guys, all of the baits from all of the regions that you might see. So if you're from a region other than the Midwest Great Lakes region, you're probably gonna see a bait that's likely to be in your bag here today. So you definitely won't get them all that you see here today, but you're gonna get like 7 to 8 of them. So you'll get at least a good idea. So let's dump this thing out. Let's see what's potentially inside. All right, so right off the bat, there's a few baits I'm really excited about and a few that I'm unsure of. So you let me know what you think as we go through these things in the comments below. So right off the top, the feature bait this month, we had the Mad Max Popper last month. This month is the Crankbait Seeker. This is the MONSTERBASS Seeker crankbait. It comes in a few different diving depths. And I'm gonna share with you not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, but all 6 colorways that this comes in. And if you guys don't know, all of these colors are custom and they are made by Messer's Baits. So Messer's been partnering with us for a while and he's making some really cool colorways. So just so you guys know, the Seeker comes in several different diving depths. All the colors I'm showing you today with this shorter lip are in the 4 to 6 foot diving range. There is a 6 to 8, I believe, 8 to 12. So there's like 3 diving depths that you guys can get. They'll be available at monsterbass.com. So if you want to see those, go check them out. But right here we have what's called Craw Monster. Super red. Look at that. That's fantastic. Great bait to be throwing this time of year, starting to migrate towards these like darker color patterns, natural colors, and reds, because they just seem to work. This one is called Bluegill, kind of a funky looking gill color. Definitely not my favorite color in the bunch, but one that's not bad nonetheless. When you're looking for like more of the naturals, the browns, the reds, throw a gill dot on there. There you go. I've always liked this color right here. It's called Spring Craw. Now it is fall, so hang on to this one to the spring. No, it'll work right now. What I like about this the most, other than that craw pattern, which looks pretty slick there, is that orange tip. So that orange is so bright in the water, looks so good. The blue looks fantastic as well. It's a great color to be throwing. Next up, we got an interesting one. This one's called the Baby Blues. Baby blue top, as you can see there, with a chartreuse belly. You also notice all of these have the red treble on the front hook. Some will say red trebles, red hooks will get you more bites. I don't know if that's exactly scientifically accurate, but nonetheless, it's a cool calling card, and if you don't like it, you can just switch it out to a different treble. Here we have one of my favorite colorways, Cracked. That is just sick. It's a callback to like the original MONSTERBASS Ragnar, that red and white. So if you're looking for like a bone combo or something that you think might get you more bites in the fall, this might be the one to grab for. We got a nice twist on a classic color here. This is called Blue Sexy. It's kind of a sexy shad, blue and chrome kind of color, like good classic crankbait color, especially for like brighter days, bluebird skies. I like that one a lot as well. All right, so there's the Seeker. You're getting some sweet crankbaits. You're getting one of those in your bag. Just keep that in mind. But if you get that, it's a solid crankbait. I was lucky enough to go fish it with the boys from MONSTERBASS here in Michigan when we had a meetup a couple months ago. And just so you know, the promo video just dropped from them on the Monster Bass YouTube channel. So if you want to go check that out, it features Ben Nowak and Alex Rudd, as well as JC Dropshot, fishing those lures for smallmouth and largemouth in Michigan and just smacking them. So pretty cool thing for me to be a part of. And I got some of the first iterations of that bait to go fish. It was a blast. Next up, boom, we got the Strike King Buzz King. This is a tri-wing or like 3-bladed buzzbait. Very interesting. Honestly, I've never fished this before. I've seen them at the store here and there, but you might get one of these colors. You might get a slightly different one, but here's white, here's chartreuse. My personal go-to, usually that chartreuse right there gets it done here in Michigan. So I'm a fan of it. Buzzbaits are awesome. They're a ton of fun to fish. There we go. So we've got the red eye on there, chartreuse body, chartreuse skirt, simple band on there. Could replace that whenever you want. Nice stout hook off the back. And then we've got this looks like a friggin' boat prop. Look at that thing. So we got 3-blade buzzbait right there. Just sweet. It's unique. Seems put together okay. I mean, we'll see how well it holds up out there on the water. I'm sure it's pretty gosh dang loud if it's like a boat prop here. Buzzbaits can be great for the fall. They're killer when it's windy out or even rainy out. So it's something I look forward to throwing. It's been raining a lot lately. So these have been just sitting in my boat, ready to rock. And I'm gonna add this one to the arsenal. Speaking of Castaic, I can't believe I brought them up. I forgot this was in the bag. We have a lipless here from Castaic. So I mentioned a crankbait from them, got me my PB back in the day. I don't know, maybe this will do something for me. Looks like a nice standard large lipless that is also got a tinny rattle to it. Look at that. Looks like we've got slightly undersized hooks, but they've got that little sweep back. I like that a lot. That helps you keep fish pinned. Consequently, the complaint I had about the other Castaic bait I had was the trebles, and these look quite a bit better. There's some pretty decent trebles on there. Very interesting colorway with like the chartreuse and green. It's almost a craw pattern going down the back and orange in there. Green up on back. You've got 2 tie-in points and a split ring, so you can move that split ring if you want to. Tie-ins on lipless, when you see them like this, gives you a slightly different action or retrieve when you switch them up. You also got a bright green belly. Interesting little like bluish grayish spots right where the treble is. I don't know, man. Looks cool. I'm a fan of the nose section there. Reminds me of the 6th Sense Quake, honestly. But it is kind of flared up on the sides, if you can see. So it's going to give you a pretty good vibe, I'm assuming. Again, we'll have to put this in the water and see what happens. Not bad. At first glance, I was like, I don't know, take it or leave it. But now, I don't know, actually looks pretty good. Kind of excited to try it. And it's called the Vicious Extreme Vibration 75. So at 75 millimeters, it's a pretty big lipless at and a ½ ounce. And it's called the Jimi Hendrix. That's the color. All right, next up, we got an Excite Baits. This is the XB5 Copper Green Shad is the color. Colors I'm pretty much grabbing right now are either bright or dark, but the dark ones are typically a hint of natural pattern to it. All right, so getting up close and personal with this one. Ooh, okay. It's got a nice little flash to it. I like the green, white belly, little red spot right there. It's got a big wobble lip. That's very interesting. Probably going to give it some solid action. So it's essentially a square bill with a wider wobble. I like that. That's interesting. That intrigues me, and I hope it'll intrigue fish. The body shape of this is very interesting. Kind of tapers up towards the top, flat on the bottom. All right, so we're probably getting a real unique action. And sometimes that's what it takes, especially this time of year. Trebles are, I mean, they're fine. You might want to upgrade these, but they'll probably get the job done. I wouldn't be too worried about them. And I like that red angry eye. Look at that. That is a sexy looking bait. Very interesting. I could say that I don't have anything really like this, so throw it in the box, see what happens. Also, it's got a heavy weight transfer system. So if you guys haven't fished baits with weight transfer systems, they're typically easier to cast a long distance out there, so we can just give this thing a shot, go a quarter mile that way, and then reel it back in. And then it's still gonna have a knock as you retrieve it, which is cool. All right, this next one I'm really excited about because I've been waiting for these for a long time. In fact, I've been egging Rick on to make these forever. So Monster Bass is making terminal tackle now, if you guys haven't noticed, and they just made a Ned EWG. This is what I've been waiting for my whole life. I love EWG Ned heads. You guys know that if you watch this channel at all. And if you don't, welcome. There's a ton of Ned rig videos on here. If you want to try Ned rigging or get better at it, you can watch some of those. This is one of the things that is a staple for me. EWG Neds, get it done. Straight up. This is a 1/8 ounce as well, and 1/8 is kind of my go-to weight. It is a good do-all weight. It'll work in the river, it'll work for dinks, it'll work for big fish, and it works especially in the lake as well. The nice thing about this is that it's borderline snag proof. I mean, we call it weedless for a reason. It's not weed proof, but it is weedless. Throw a Z-Man Finesse TRD on here or a mule fishing donkey tail, and you are gonna be one happy person. Look at that. So these are called the Saber Tooths, I believe. Very, very sharp hook there. Very sharp, always necessary. I like that it allows you to rig it extremely straight. I think that's gonna look really good, bait presentation wise. And they come in a painted head. So we have here a black and blue. You can see a slight flash to that blue flake as I move it there. That's awesome. Line tie looks good. Hook looks good. You're gonna be happy with these. I know I am. And we got a ton of plastics that you can rig up to those EWGs as well. So that's pretty awesome. Like, you've got everything you need in this bag. Grab your rod and reel, go hit the water, you're good to go. One of those plastics is the KVD Perfect Plastic Strike King Ned Ocho. This is a fantastic Ned rig. 2 3/4 inches. This is Okeechobee Craw. Look at that. So we got the green pumpkin on the bottom, split color tone, to the bright blue. Look at that. Blue flake is insane on this thing. This thing has a little bit of stretch to it. It is, it's pretty durable. I've fished these in a bunch of different colors many a time, and they do get the job done. They're kind of flatter than what you're used to, not a very rounded worm. Got a good taper to the tail here, and that's gonna give it a ton of action. Great looking plastic, something you can rig on that Ned EWG. In fact, boom, already did it. And it is real straight, real easy to rig straight. Look at that. That looks awesome. And it works really well with that black and blue head. Now, with the two-tone colors, you can flip them. Just understand that your presentation of a Ned is like this. At that point, it doesn't really matter too much. So there you go. That's what it's going to look like on the bottom. I like that there's not a lot of excess hook coming off the back here. It's not a super wide gap EWG. It's a pretty finessey EWG hook they used. So that is awesome to see. Next up, we got on the spot baits. And I mean, I've received baits from these guys in the past. They sent me some samples before. I think they're pretty decent plastics. Here we have the 3-inch Baby Brush Hog, and the color is Dingleberry. Oh my goodness. All right, let's take a look at this thing. Apparently Dingleberry is for Junebug and brown. So we've got brown and black flake on the back, and then you got that purple green flake on this side. And it's a baby brush hog. It's a 3-inch brush hog. Look at this thing. So it's got the big flaps like you're used to with a brush hog style bait. You've got the little curly tail ends coming off the back. It's pretty juicy actually. And then you got your little wings up top. So tons of stuff that you can do with a creature bait like this. And most of you guys are probably used to flipping these around, like Texas rig, Carolina rig, you'll see these used a lot. And in this case, it's small. So we can throw it on a finesse hook and do a real light Texas rig, or we can throw it on a Ned EWG. Look at that. That's a presentation they probably haven't seen before. That is phenomenal. I dig this a lot. I'm gonna leave this rigged, tie it on to my finesse setup, get out there and fish this thing because I think it looks pretty gosh dang awesome. That is juicy. This might be my favorite combo in the bag right here. I don't know. You might get a slightly different on-the-spot bait coming your way. So this is a little paddle tail. It's a 3.3-inch slim swim, and the color is Mayfly Reaper. Let's take a look at this. Green pumpkin coming up in all these colors. Green pumpkin, great natural color, works all year round, but I like throwing more of those natural colors at this time of year for sure. So there we go. Green pumpkin, little blue on the bottom. I dig that. I think it's a really good looking color. Paddle tail seems to be well made. We get a nice tapered tail section here to that paddle. So I'm liking that. And get a robust front section for rigging here. So again, we get an option. This is something I could see throwing on like an underspin this time of year. It's a great trailer bait actually. So if you want to throw this on a chatterbait, spinnerbait, The fact that it's slim like this with a small paddle, I like, because it means you can run that bait where you want it in the water column. And this looks fairly durable, so I think it'll hold up. But check this out. What if? This is the episode where I just absolutely lose my mind to an EWG. Check this out. This size is kind of perfect to rig up to this EWG. So right now what you have is a weedless presentation where you can swim this and then let it drop. So this is a reel pause kind of bait. So you reel it, that tail's kicking, you pause, it drops to the bottom. Tail is still gonna be moving on the bottom, right? You got some action there, just like a Ned rig. And then you reel it again, it's gonna come up and swim across the water, right? I think that's gonna look juicy, especially this time of year. They're feeding up on bait fish. They're looking for stuff that's moving, kind of active, but maybe if it's injured, it's an easy meal. So simulating like a feeding or injured or dying bait fish, this could be a move. I like it. Not to mention you get an 8 count with those baby brush hogs and a 10 count with those little slim swims. And the Ochos come in a 9. Last plastic we might be seeing in the regional bag would be the Big Bite Baits Coon Tail Worm. This one is a 4.75 incher and it's a ringed body worm. Green pumpkin blue swirl is the color I got. Hang on, this isn't what I thought it was gonna be. This is actually pretty gosh dang sweet. Is this how they all are? Yeah, holy cow. This is cool, all right. So here's the worm right here. You can see that we've got sort of this fat ringed middle section. You've got your rigging tip right up here. So it's a bit thicker plastic that's gonna hold up. It's even got like little eyes on it. Look at that thing. Look at him. What's up, dude? Down to the fatter section. If you guys don't know, this like ringed material here, whenever I see that in plastics, I get excited because it kind of undulates underwater. So it's got tons of action, way more action than you get out of a solid plastic. And then down here at the tail end, look at that. You got sort of that ring section tapering down, thinning out, and then we got this nice bulbous end that's gonna give you a ton of action. And you know what this size screams is a nice finessey shaky head. This is shaky head territory all day, and you could bite it down and throw it on that EWG. Oh my gosh, you can rig every plastic in here on the Monster Bass EWG. We got options. I do also like that it's kind of a tracer tail. You got that like bright, vibrant blue right off the tip. Look at that. That is juicy. That's a real nice worm. Big Bite Baits make some good stuff, man. It's hard to argue that. And you get a quantity of 7 in that bag. All right, you guys, that would be it for the regional. Now, I want to give you a preview if you get the multi-species box because they sent me that stuff too. If you guys are into pan fishing, if you're into fishing for crappie, if you like fish tacos and maybe catching cooks every now and then, this could be a good bag for you to grab. Now check this out. We got some Lucky Strike Crappie Magic jigs. These are in a 1/32 ounce, which happens to be my favorite ultralight weight. So if you're going crappie fishing or using just like an ultralight rig, this is a great weight to throw around. And in that yellow red eye jig head, this is fantastic. You can also see these are extremely finessey hooks, very lightweight stuff. That's what you want because you're gonna rig up these finessey plastics. Check these out. First of all, Widowmaker is a fantastic company. They make a ton of my favorite ice fishing gear. So check these out. We got little tiny chartreuse and June bug. What a combination, green and purple. It's something we talk about on the show all the time. In fact, we just dropped a shirt for our Snorlax Crew YouTube members. That is this color combo. It's the Incredible Hulk. The Lou Ferrigno, if you will. This is juice, straight juice. You got some options here. So it's got a little finessey tail to it. You got that purple to chartreuse. We can rig this right onto that jig and fish it. You can swim it. You can fish it like a Ned rig. What I prefer to do with a plastic this size is throw it on that jig, cast it out there, reel it back in, and just cast and retrieve. Very simple to do, especially if you're wading in the rivers this time of year or if you're kayaking in the rivers. Just casting upstream on a 45-degree angle and reeling it back to you. I'll just smack smallmouth all day long doing that. Otherwise, go to your local lake, fish for panfish. If you can find them, they're usually schooling up. There's a whole ton of them. Cast this out there with a 1/32 ounce jig. You just let it fall forever. And you'll just get those machine gun bites from gill or crappie, and then one of them's gonna smack it, get it in the mouth, and you can actually set that hook. These are great. You can also trim this down for ice fishing season. Those of my hard water friends out there. These are sweet too. So this is Different Breed Lures. It's an American-made brand. Never heard of them, but they do have a big old flag right on the back. Got a little shad-scented plastic here. Okay, check that out. So nice tickle tail action going on. Got chartreuse with like blue-green flake. I dig that color. This would be cool. Throwing this on a little jig. Again, you got to downsize for these things. So anything under a 120 ounce is probably what you're gunning for. But I mean, we got 25 jigs here, so I think I could literally take these 3 things in my ultralight setup down to the lake right now and just go fish for panfish all day. And that'd be sweet. There you go. If you get bored of that, you can throw something like this. We got a little tiny jerkbait. So this is the Shimmer Shad. It's a 50 millimeter shallow diving crankbait. Check it out. Look at that. Little tiny lip to it. Kind of a sexy shad color pattern there. And it's super light. It's got kind of oversized hooks, honestly, on it. But, I mean, hopefully this doesn't get hung up on the lip. That's the only thing I'd be worried about right there. But on an ultralight setup, this can be a blast. Throwing little things like this or old school Rapalas in this size, small crankbaits, micro crankbaits, these are the juice. It's a lot of fun, especially in a river, a creek, shallow sections of your local pond, as long as they're not too weedy. From the top, we got some plastics, Big Bite Baits, Coon Tail, On the Spot Slim Swim, KVD Perfect Plastics Net Ocho, Baby Brush Hog from On the Spot, Castaic Lipless, Jimi Hendrix color, Excite Baits XB5, little shallow diving crankbait, MONSTERBASS EWG, which you can rig everything to, but this is my personal favorite, and don't tell anybody about my secret. And that Buzz King from Strike King. And lest we forget, the Seeker series. Now I'm not sure if they're sending out just the 4 to 6 foot divers or some of the other depth ranges, but again, this comes in 3 depth ranges. In the shallow, they're like 6 to 8 feet to 8 to 12. So you got a bunch of different options there, which is great. Get a couple sets of those and you can cover the whole water column. And crankbait season is here. I love fishing crankbaits this time of year. All right, you guys, that's it for the monster bass stuff this month. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and maybe you enjoyed the baits. Let me know what you think about the baits in the comments below. But be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more unboxings, gear reviews, and fishing videos, because that's what we do here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I hope you're having an awesome day. Go get out on the water, go catch a PB, go have some fun, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.